It's a raccoon with a talk show, slinging culture facts you might not know. From the biggest flops to the greatest hits, this is Trash Can Tidbits.
Hey everyone, it's Beaton here, and this is Trash Can Tidbits number 32. I still can't believe I'm getting up there in terms of the numbers of videos, and seriously, this is coming from someone who's learning about making videos as I go along. Thanks for sticking with me, and I hope to continue to bring fun trivia videos to you each week. Let's get started with fact number 1. Did you know that a character that George Clooney played in a movie and an Oscar-winning singer for Best Original Song unintentionally shared the same names? In 2009, George Clooney was nominated for Best Actor for the film Up in the Air, where he played a character named Ryan Bingham. In a remarkable coincidence, during that same ceremony, real-life country singer-songwriter Ryan Bingham was nominated and won the Best Original Song Oscar for the song The Weary Kind from the film Crazy Heart. And in an even more ironic twist, Clooney would end up losing the Best Actor Oscar to Jeff Bridges, the lead actor from Crazy Heart. Fact 2. Did you know that the ending for the movie Little Shop of Horrors was rather hastily redone? This is because, in the movie, as in the stage musical, it originally ended with the talking alien plant Audrey 2 taking over the world. But because test audiences didn't like this ending, a happier ending where the main characters Seymour and Audrey survive and Audrey 2 is destroyed was filmed and used instead. Also, the final shot where Seymour and Audrey get married and run into their new house was only partially complete, as only 2 of the 3 actresses who played the movie's Greek chorus can be seen walking past the camera. The third actress was not available to repeat her role. As such, we don't see the third girl's face as the camera dips down for the final shot. The stand-in was used instead, and we only see her from the neck down. The original ending has since been restored and is available on the Director's Cut Blu-ray. Fact 3. Did you know that the mechanical sharks used in the movie Jaws were collectively nicknamed after Steven Spielberg's own lawyer? His lawyer was named Bruce Raymer, and so the shark was affectionately nicknamed Bruce. Whether it's a coincidence or not, the movie Finding Nemo also has a shark character named Bruce. He's also, coincidentally, a great white shark. Fact 4. Did you know that even though Sandra Bullock and George Clooney were the 2 main actors credited in the film Gravity, the film features another actor who was in another film about a disaster in space? Playing the voice of Mission Control is actor Ed Harris, who previously appeared in Apollo 13 as Gene Kranz, a member of Mission Control in the real-life failed 1970 effort to get to the moon. Also, prior to both of these movies, Harris's breakout role was in 1983's The Right Stuff, where he played the man who started it all, the first American man in space himself, John Glenn. Fact 5. Did you know that Charles Fleischer, the voice of Roger Rabbit, actually wore a Roger Rabbit costume on set? Even though he was never seen on camera, he would always be standing off camera reading Roger's lines, and insisted that he have a Roger Rabbit costume made for him to get into character. Apparently, this caused a great deal of commotion at the studio where the film was made, as people in the commissary would see Fleischer in costume and laugh at the sight of the rabbit and openly mock the film. Fleischer also provided the voice of Benny the Cab in the movie, and to the best of my knowledge, did not have a costume made to look like a taxi cab. Fact 6. Did you know that prior to the sitcom Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Melissa Joan Hart starred in a TV movie of Sabrina for Showtime that exact same summer of 1996? Fans of this movie consider it an unofficial pilot for the series that Melissa would later star in. It features actress Michelle Baudouin as Sabrina's best friend Marnie, and she would be the only cast member from this movie besides Hart to go on to the show. She would play Sabrina's best friend Ginny in the first season. The Showtime movie is also notable for featuring an early appearance from Deadpool himself, Ryan Reynolds. Fact 7. Did you know that actors Fred Gwynne and Al Lewis, best known for playing Herman Munster and Grandpa on The Munsters, starred in a previous TV show together? They both played comical partners on the 60s show where Car 54 Where Are You? That's where they developed their famous chemistry that would make them natural choices to play the roles of Herman and Grandpa a short time later. And an even more interesting fact, the precinct where their Car 54 characters worked from was called the 53rd Precinct, which would later feature in the 1995 crime drama Dead Presidents. Wow, to have your police district go from a 60s comedy cop show to a 90s gritty crime drama about Vietnam vets who rob banks is a pretty bold career move. Fact 8. Did you know that Cream the Rabbit from the Sonic the Hedgehog series made her official debut ahead of time before her first appearance in the Sonic X anime? Cream's debut was in the Game Boy Advance game Sonic Advance 2. Her appearance was solely to make the game easier for newer players. Later that same year, Sonic Heroes was released for consoles, and this was her first appearance in the 3D Sonic games. Finally, she made her TV debut in Sonic X. So, Cream's first appearances ahead of the anime was in 2 games, all of which were released in the same year. Fact 9. Did you know that the nickname for Sonic the Hedgehog's best friend, Tails, was actually added in as an afterthought by the American branch that helped make Sonic 2? Tails' creator, Yasushi Yamaguchi, always intended for his name to be Miles Prower, a pun on the phrase miles per hour, and it was apparently out of his control that he was going to be renamed Tails for the American release of Sonic 2. Fortunately, both the creator and the American Sega Technical Institute were able to reach a compromise, so current documentation for the character has his full name listed as Miles Tails Prower. Fact 10. Did you know that King Kong was the first sound film to have a sequel? The sequel, Son of Kong, was released a mere 9 months after the first movie was released in 1933. However, this follow-up is not so well remembered because of the rushed animation process, as well as chaotic behind-the-scenes stories regarding the original puppeteer for King Kong, Willis O'Brien, and, well, issues involving his family life at the time. As such, he did not think highly of this movie and refused to discuss it for the rest of his life. To me, even though I haven't seen it, I wouldn't recommend Son of Kong anyway because, as I said, it's not so well remembered, and the track record for King Kong sequels is not so good. Although, I am looking forward to the Godzilla vs. Kong movie matchup coming out this year, so we'll see what happens. And there we go for this week. I hope you like what I brought for you. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring that little bell down there for future video notifications. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.